What's going on, Senpai Squad? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we finally got the review for Boruto chapter 29. Now this chapter, especially the very beginning, in fact mainly the very beginning, when we saw Kashin Koji dropping down into Konoha, it gave me huge pain invasion arcs. Just the fact that the entire village is oblivious to what is about to go down, because we presume Koji's going to be doing something pretty huge, whether that's going to be attacking everyone or just taking away, stealing Kawaki. One of the two, something big is going to go down, that's for sure. And the fact that the entire village is just completely unaware that possibly one of the strongest people in the land right now, and one of the biggest criminal, someone who's part of the biggest criminal organisation in the world at the minute, has just entered their village. Serious pain vibes, and I absolutely loved it. However, I do actually have a few negatives that I'd like to talk about in the Boruto manga at the minute. And I've always kind of tried to speak my own opinion about whatever I've talked about on this channel. And I don't want that to end here. I don't want to kind of suck off Boruto to a point where I'm kind of lying to myself in my videos. So I want to be completely honest. Maybe you could classify it more as a nitpick as opposed to a negative. But I do feel as though this chapter is kind of like the epitome of the main problem in the Boruto manga, because I personally think that the Boruto manga is really good. Very good, in fact. It's very reminiscent of Part 1 Naruto, which I think a lot of people will agree is the better part of Naruto, but it's also got its own twist on it by including things that we learned about in Shippuden and all that, like with the Otsutsuki and whatever, so on. And I just feel as though the main negative I have about the series is the pacing. And that obviously ultimately comes down to the monthly release that the manga goes through. And personally, I just feel as though sometimes in this chapter, especially because I thought this chapter would have been fantastic if the series was weekly. It would have been fantastic. But personally, I don't feel like waiting a month for this chapter. I don't want to say it didn't feel worth it, because like I said at the beginning of the video, I really enjoyed it. I did genuinely enjoy it. It was a good chapter. It's just when you're waiting monthly, and this is kind of, I can't say it without making it sound like I'm being ungrateful or calling it bad or something. So I do apologise. Hopefully some of you guys kind of understand where I'm getting at. But it's just kind of like, I think the Kawaki arc started, and this is going to blow your mind. I was shocked when I found this out. The Kawaki arc started, I think, nearly half a year ago. Like 6 months ago, the Kawaki arc started. We were first introduced to Kawaki 7 months ago. 8 months ago. Which is nuts. And since the Kawaki arc started, we've had a small fight between Kawaki and Garo, which was A star. Loved it. We've seen a little bit of Kawaki's backstory, which was great, so how he kind of got the seal, which is obviously really vital for his character. And then we've had a bit of bonding between Naruto, which is really good and really important, and I'm not knocking it in the slightest. But when you think that it's took nearly half a year to do all that, it's a bit kind of leaves a sour taste in your mouth. But I don't want to complain too much, because like I said, I did genuinely enjoy the chapter. I just thought as though I don't want to say it could have been more. I'm going to have to shut up, because I'm sure a lot of people have kind of already got a little bit heated at me saying this and hating on Boruto. I can't do it. Not the manga as well. The manga is perfect. Listen, love the manga to pieces, and I think it is fantastic, and it's really good. I just feel as though sometimes what we get in a month could have been just a bit more, if that makes sense. I want at least one thing each month which is just like, wow! And personally, I don't think this chapter did that. However, that being said, I may be contradicting myself completely here, and that's the fact that it was a good setup chapter, but like I said, wait, you know what? I'm gonna forget about the negatives right now. Let's get into actually reviewing what happened in the chapter. It was setting up something like, it was the calm before the storm, if that's how you'd put it, you know. Kashin Koji's entered the village and he's found Kawaki, which a lot of us, I think, kind of expected Kashin Koji to be like this in this chapter. Some people was expecting him to kill Ino and, you know, kill people and kidnap people, which, to be fair, I was kind of on the, oh, he might kidnap Boruto, but I did not expect it to happen in this chapter like I think some people did. So I think most of us nailed on what Kashin Koji was doing in this chapter, just kind of being sneaky. Although what I did like, and this is one good bit of pacing in this chapter, which is something I wish I'd continue, is he found Kawaki pretty quickly, which is a good thing, because I would have dreaded if they just dragged out Kashin Koji finding Kawaki over a few months. That would have really rubbed me the wrong way. But regardless, it was, like I said, a good setup chapter. It's leading up to something big. I feel as though we're heading towards the final act of this arc, or at least the next act of this arc, because I feel like most arcs you can kind of split up into little mini arcs, if you'd like to say. You know, we've had the Garo versus Kawaki part, and kind of like getting Kawaki to the village, and then we've had kind of learning about Kawaki. Now I think we might possibly be going into the main big part of this arc, the type of thing that, you know, you're going to remember about this arc, whether it be Kashin Koji versus Naruto, or just something big. I feel is definitely going to be happening rather soon. But in this chapter we learned some more about karma, which is always a very nice thing to know. We know now that karma actually just all around gives a boost to pretty much everything. You know, I think it was speed, power, jutsu power, all that type of stuff. So it really is something else. And honestly, you may call it overpowered, which I can imagine you possibly could. But, you know, if it's the seal from the strongest beings in the galaxy, you imagine it's going to be pretty damn strong. You know, you're not going to have the Otsutsuki seal, the prized possession, the gift from the gods, not be as strong as like a two-tome Sharingan, are you? That just wouldn't add up whatsoever. So I can kind of understand why it's so strong. I imagine if you're going to have this immense power come with it, you know, there needs to be something that equals it out, which I imagine would probably be the difficulty in mastering it. Saying that, Kawaki seems damn good with the Karma Seal, at least when you compare it to Boruto. Kawaki knows a fair bit about the Karma Seal. He knows that he can activate it at will, which we've seen him do a couple times. He knows that if he activates it, Boruto's will activate. They will resonate together. He's very knowledgeable on that. He knows that it will boost all of his stats, essentially. So Kawaki definitely isn't an idiot when it comes to the Karma Seal. So I imagine he's got it under quite a bit of control, which kind of, you know, makes sense. He's meant to be kind of like, he's meant to be Boruto's rival, essentially. Boruto's already pretty OP. And with Kawaki not really having any ninjutsu at all that we've learned in this chapter, he's going to have something which puts him on equal level with Boruto. And I think if him already mastering the Karma to some degree kind of does equal those two out. Boruto and Naruto had another sparring session in this chapter, which is always nice to see those two spending some time together. And in this sparring session, Boruto threw a lightning style. I think it was the thunderclap arrow. And it does make me question when we're actually going to see manga content in the anime, purely for the fact that if you cast your minds back to the first Naruto versus Boruto sparring match that we had at the beginning of the AO arc, he used water style as well as Raiton, which obviously lightning style, and in the anime, I don't think he's learned any water style. I don't think we've ever seen him use it, or at least not naturally. We've seen him use it with the scientific ninja tech, but that's it. As for the lightning style, we've seen him do little bits, like little flashes here and there, but nothing on the level of a thunderclap arrow. So when he's going to learn all this in the anime, I've got no idea. Is he gonna, you'd imagine he would, because this is something pretty damn big. Like, the thunderclap arrow is not a jutsu you mess about with. So when we're going to see this in the anime, I'm not too sure. But kind of on the flip side, we've not seen him use the Boruto stream at all in the manga. So whether they're planning to kind of use Boruto stream in the anime and then like water style and lightning style in the manga, I don't know. But to me, that'd just be a bit stupid, because it's undeniably that one is much better than the other. So we'll see. But like I said, does make me question when we're going to get new manga content, because I believe he uses this in the Majuna Bandits arc, or at least, like I said, towards the beginning of the AO arc. And for that to happen, he needs to know it in the anime, which at the moment he doesn't. I love the contrast that they made between Naruto and Jigen in this chapter as kind of a parental figure, as a father figure for each other, because Naruto is this all-caring, lovable guy who will always put other people first, i.e. Boruto, Kawaki. He will be there and he'll spend time with them, and essentially he's just a good dad. Jigen, on the other hand, is, well, like I said, the contrast was made. He's the complete opposite of Naruto. And we saw this yet again in another Kawaki flashback after the sparring match between Boruto and Naruto. We see Jigen just beating up Kawaki, trying to get him to use the Karma Seal, saying how, you know, I can't remember the exact words, but it was saying that you need the Karma Seal to make you special. It was something like that. But the main thing I want to take from this flashback was the fact that Jigen was using a bow. Not a bow and arrow, but the long staff, which we see Kawaki using right at the start of the flash forward at the beginning of the series, which is quite interesting. I know quite a few people pointed that out, and whether that's foreshadowing something later on down the line, I'm not too sure, but it is still quite interesting to see Jigen using the weapon, which we imagine Kawaki also uses at the beginning, when you also think we see Boruto using Sasuke's weapon, or what we believe to be Sasuke's weapon. So, very interesting. Is Sasuke going to die and Boruto will take his stuff, and is Jigen going to die and Kawaki take his? It's quite interesting. I want to know what you guys think of that down in the comment section down below. Also in this chapter, Naruto quoted, more or less anyway, the Sage of Six Paths when talking to Kawaki, explaining what ninjutsu, jutsus and chakra and all this was to him. He was saying how chakra is something used to connect people, like, you know, Boruto, Sarada, me, Hinata, you, we're all connected through chakra. It's something that is in everybody, and it's like a connective tool, a connective device. And Kawaki, which, like I said, is something which the Sage of Six Paths actually told Naruto. So I personally didn't pick up on that, but I know quite a few of you guys did. So that was a really, really good spot by you guys. Well done. But Kawaki saying how the Shadow Clone Jutsu seems like such a good technique purely for the fact that you can hit yourself and beat yourself up when you're when you're annoyed, kind of reflected what his character is right now. He's just a lost child, essentially, which I feel so sorry for, because the amount of darkness within him is just way too much, and I'm pretty sure that's what's going to be taken advantage of to turn Kawaki into this almighty bad guy, which we saw in the flash forward. Unfortunately, that's the truth. I mean, it's all come down to Jigen. Jigen's the one that's done that to him. Well, Jigen probably took advantage of that from Kawaki, from what his original father did to him. But Jigen has just took that hatred and darkness within Kawaki and just escalated it to a whole nother level after what he's done to him. So that I think is what a lot of people probably presume is going to be the turning point for Kawaki. He's just the darkness within him. You know, it's not his fault. I can understand why he's full of so much hatred and darkness. It's just a shame. I feel for Kawaki, and I want him to have a happy ending. And overall, this chapter wasn't bad, wasn't anything phenomenal. It was a good chapter. If I had to rate it, which I don't usually do, you know, using numbers, I'd give it like a 7, a 6.5, a 7, probably more of a 7. Like I said, it's just pacing problems, which is the biggest issue right now. I think next chapter, like I said, is going to be the turning point, especially now that we see Kashin Koji with the Toad, which I've not mentioned about the Sage Mode. Oh my god, how could I forget the Sage Mode? Okay, Kashin Koji Sage Mode. Madness. The amount of links that he's getting now with Jiraiya. It started off as a bit of a meme, kind of be like, oh, Kashin Koji's Jiraiya. You know, just kind of being a bit sarcastic, like, oh, we know he's actually not Jiraiya. As time goes on, part of me is like, he's not Jiraiya. Jiraiya. He's Jiraiya. Is he actually? Is he really? He's got to have some connection to Jiraiya, whether he is him or not. He's definitely got some sort of connection. And the fact that he's got a mask on, any character who has a mask, you know they're hiding something. And when it's revealed, it's going to be something that shocks the audience. Usually a character that we're already aware of. You know, Toby, Obito, all of that type of stuff. So I really want to ask it. I feel as though every chapter with Kashin Koji, I ask this, but who do you think Kashin Koji really is? Because that Sage Mode has just took the possibilities of him being from him being Jiraiya from like here, way up to here. Madness. Guys, let me know what you thought of this chapter in the comment section down below. Did you think it was fantastic, good, bad, whatever? Who knows? Whatever. Let me know who you think Jiraiya is, or sorry, KASHIN Koji is. We'll see how that goes. And let me know where you think we're heading in this arc, because we imagine KASHIN Koji is about to hit the walls and go after Kawaki. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're not already to become a member of your Senpai Squad. And I'll see you guys in another video. But until then, peace.